Yo, Monday night, and the Falcons have just defeated the Buffalo Bills. What a day, what a day. What a day in the A. Welcome in, folks. Uh, you hear the Scoop with Dukes live, man. Live show. I had to make sure I finished watching the Falcons, man. You know, it's very few and far between that we get a victory over a team the caliber of the Buffalo Bills, so I had to enjoy that. Wearing a bit of a old school and used Falcons hat. Had this hat for years, but I'm glad to wear it proudly tonight after the Falcons represent themselves so well on Monday Night Football. As you come in, leave your location. For sure. We got a lot to talk about. Um, Colorado, Colorado finally with the win over Iowa State. They get it done. What's up, Kalina? I know some people gonna want to talk about Auburn tonight. So yeah, we could talk about the Auburn Georgia game. Indiana's number 3 in college football. A lot going on, right? So yeah, it's a lot, man. I think Auburn may be in here a little strong tonight. Gotta man, this tweet still going crazy. So yeah, monetization on. Yeah, man. They yeah, man. So we can wait till everybody gets in here, man. What's up, Sabrina Blankenship? And if you have it, man, go become a member, man. Somebody get the membership link where you can subscribe to the channel. But if you aren't, you know, so we got a lot of people in the chat. Okay, chat moving good early. Okay, y'all. Ernest Vaughn, what's going on? Jim Hardy said, "What's the Austin story? Why is he gone?" I mean, it's not a whole lot to it. Kelly Green said, "Best guess on when they let Hugh go." Yay, Falcons, Braves. I know that's right. Um, let's see. Oh, we wanted the truth. Yeah, it ain't nothing to it. Like with Coach Freeze. I don't think Coach Freeze. Just to be honest, so for those that don't know, Auburn senior running back Deari Austin is no longer with the Auburn Tigers. He had been there. He was a team captain, and he basically asked for a red shirt. And he asked for a red shirt, I think, and it kind of was viewed by the staff like, "I mean, you quitting on the team? Are you sure you want to do this?" And he's like, "Look, you know, I'll still come to practice. I'll do everything, but I just want to save my year." You know, he's trying to go to the NFL, and it could be seen as selfish by some. It could be seen as he was looking out for himself. I think all of that, you could have your own opinion on that. My problem, because it's business. People do what businessmen do. What businessmen do. My biggest problem was when Coach Freeze went into the press conference and pretty much framed it as if Deari was kicked off for something like a character concern, or I felt like he could have handled the press conference differently. And the way that the headlines read, I felt like it could have been done differently. And so I just put a tweet up saying, kind of just saying like who Deari is as a person, and it went low key viral today. I think that tweet got like 1 million views today. And no, that's basically the long and the short of it. I think Coach Freeze just should have worded it differently. But yeah, I mean, everybody's gonna have their own opinion on did he quit on the team, and we're in the NIL era, and what people got to understand is the rule. That rule is in place for a reason. The red shirt rule. You can play in up to 4 games, and you can use your year. Before you played in 1 game, red shirt, you're burnt. You couldn't play in a single game. So you get an opportunity to see how the year is going to go, and then you can use your red shirt. Mekhi Hughes, for example, up in Oregon, he saw how the season was going. He wasn't getting the carries that he was expecting. He's looking to go to the NFL. He used his red shirt. I mean, and he's still in Oregon, and he'll probably go to the transfer portal later in the year. But he's still in Oregon. and that's how that's going. But that's just a part of the game now. It's just like when players don't perform up to expectations, teams can send you about your way. It's just like when a coach decides, you know what, this is even though I signed a 6-7 year contract, I've got a better opportunity somewhere. I want to go to this school instead. And I'm going to take the players that I want to take with me. That happens every day. That happens every season. So, yeah, that's basically, how that went. I think Hugh Freeze, he talked to Mike G from the War Report. Maybe I'll talk to Mike G. But Mike G said he talked to Hugh. So and Coach Freeze was kind of like he by no means meant to talk about Damari's character. He had zero character concerns, which I was glad that he said that. But it's just the nature of the beast, and sometimes people get emotional, man. I think it was just two parties that high emotion. But my tweet wasn't just to kind of dunk on Coach Freeze or whatever. It was just kind of like, man, Damar is too good of a kid to leave any of that up to speculation. And this isn't, and I'm not speculating, I'm not guessing about the kid. It's a kid I know and I know well. And I know how the team feels about him. So, and I'm gonna talk about it. I got a video I'll drop tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about it more, but you just can't leave those you can't leave that up to public opinion with your statement, knowing that with your platform. As somebody who's as respected as Coach Freeze is, and people want to hear, he's the captain of the ship in Auburn. And I'm not just a guy just talking about Auburn, I mean, shoot, every now and then I got to pull it on out. Hold on. But one of my biggest accomplishments in life was earning this. Auburn University. Like, I'm a alum. One of my biggest accomplishments. I love Auburn. And I've never disrespected the captain's chair ever. Like, I've never done it. Like, even when Gus Malzahn, when they were calling for Gus Malzahn's job, never went on Twitter talking about Gus Malzahn. When it was time for Harsin to go, I was actually I was working the beat. I was actually writing for I was a beat writer at the time, and I was writing. I refused to kind of clown Harsin, and I knew stuff that I could clown Harsin with. I knew some of the recruiting stuff that was horrible, but I would never do it just on the string. Coach Freeze, same way. I never clown Coach Freeze. Like, I saw some stuff that you probably, people. That's what journalist's job is to do. You go in and you give your opinion. But I never wanted to be a guy who was like, I always respect the captain's chair. No matter what school you at, I try not to be hard on anybody. And so no, I don't want it to be taken like I'm saying, don't take my tweet today as saying, Coach Freeze needs to be fired or none of that. I don't want nobody to lose their job. I just didn't want. I wanted in an era where bad news travels further than good. It's hard to leave those type of things up to public opinion without giving a better statement on it. And if you weren't going to speak on it in a way, it was hard for me to hear, hey, he didn't meet our expectations, such and such, such and such. We love him. Well, you got to be careful with your words when you love people, because if anybody knows how bad news could travel faster than good, it's Coach Freeze. So I'm like, come on, Coach, like kind of rephrase that so it doesn't sound so bad, because this the God honest truth. I had multiple schools ask me today, what happened with Damari? Why did he get kicked off? And I'm like, man, the boy asked for a red shirt and they had a parting of ways. It's not like Damari asking for the red shirt was what happened. That's what happened. It's not Damari. They make it seem like he was smoking crack at halftime. Like, no, man. Damari is probably one of the best kids in Auburn. And as you can see, the crazy part is, if you look no further than his teammates standing up for him. Look no further than all of his teammates. You got Rayshawn Pleasant, Blake Woodby, Xavier Atkins, Deuce Knight. Look no further than his teammates standing up for him. He was a consummate teammate. Yes, due to the nature of the business, he needs to try to get carries. He needs to try to make, I think, and he's looking out for himself, so he makes sure that he can try to make sure that he gets to the next level and get more carries. And that's fine. Coach Freeze could have literally said, "Hey, that's that. He wants the red shirt to get more carries. I hate that he did it. I feel like he let us down, but we love him anyway and wish him the best." That doesn't give the connotation that Deari did something did anything that would be of a negative consequence. And that's that. But yeah, Deari definitely gonna get the red shirt. And I would expect I would expect Coach Freeze to put out a statement. And next time that Coach Freeze gets in front of a microphone, I think he's gonna say something to clear that up. And I think people will respect that, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's the nature of the business now. Kids are going to redshirt and leave. Kids are going to get in the transfer portal and leave. Coaches are going to leave. And I think they're gonna definitely have a meeting about it, because there's too many players that that you can't do that, because you don't want people to feel like you'll throw them under the bus as soon as you try to do something that's good for you, or you feel like, all right, look, respectful. Like it's players that leave in the middle of the night without telling a coach. So he didn't just skip out on practice. I think, and the way I hear it, he was willing to still practice and help the team. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes out, man, for sure. Optimistic Auburn fans say you giving Hugh too much credit. Blake Pipkin say Freeze may not make it in front of another microphone. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm not even. Man, one thing about it, I just want to reiterate, I've never been the type of guy that was, even when I was a writer, a quote unquote writer, even when I was writing on the Auburn beat at 24/7, I was never the type of guy who was like, out there with a pitchfork trying to drive somebody out of town, because everybody has a family. But I take that very seriously, because that's the type of guy I am. And if you watch my videos or you see, and I've never been that type of guy, so I don't want it to be misconstrued as me saying that Coach Freeze needs to lose his job. That's a football thing. All I'm saying is that now the presser could have went differently, and the way he worded it made it. And people pick. If you read the headlines, you read the On 3 headline, you read any of the headlines, it looks like Deari Austin dismissed. When you read dismiss, it has a negative connotation that we have to be careful with how we say things. But yeah, I look for Deari to rebound. I mean, when you look at the Baylor game, the vibe was so different. It was like, Deari gets 16 carries, Jackson Arnold gets 16 carries, Jeremiah Cobb gets 16 carries. Deari looked healthy, and it was a beautiful thing. Death taxes at Auburn running the football. It's just been a far cry since. But you gotta, you hope Auburn can pull it together. I think they're gonna be fine. I think they got something for Missouri this weekend. Yeah, so that's that. All right, guys. So yeah, boom. Dennis, what's up, Dennis? Dennis said I saw Khalil. Sorry, sorry, guys. I know the chat going crazy. I apologize. Dennis said I saw Khalil Benson is starting in Indiana. Absolutely, man. You root for guys when they leave, man. Everybody's got their own reasons. When coaches leave, like you can't be mad at coaches when they leave. People have their reasons for going to do certain things. You just, send well wishes and you hope for the best for the next person. That's all. G Bama boy said, sure they had some bad breaks, but you had 2 more quarters to win it. Yeah. Jackson Arnold is holding the team back. Don't waste that great. The defense, I can say the defense is great for sure. Motivated, dedicated said, "Go Dogs." Hey man, he said, "Please throw away all that Auburn gear." I got a little Georgia. Let me see. I got some UGA stuff in here. That's authentic. My boy Smile Monday, man, with the Philadelphia Eagles. I keep some UGA stuff too, man. You know, it's a house divided. So, you know, we fair. I got some UGA content coming too, man. But yeah, so let's talk. Where y'all want to go? Y'all want to go Auburn again? Y'all want to go Colorado? Drop it in the comments. Where y'all want to go next? Auburn, Colorado, UGA, Falcons. I'd love to go Falcons. I'd love to go Falcons. Shout out to my man David Bassity. Auburn referees. Man, you know what's crazy? The referees in Auburn, good gracious. It's like they got a vendetta against them. That's been bad. Now, mind you, well, I dropped a video about the Auburn Georgia game, and I said, you know what? As bad as the officiating was, you still got to score more than 10 points, right? You got to get more than 10. So, but the officiating in Auburn is bad. Whoever they made mad, whoever they disappointed, whatever it is. You know, some people say, was it a touchdown? Was it a fumble? I'm gonna say this as an accountability person, right? As an Auburn person, of course, it should have been called. It should have been called a touchdown, in my opinion. But the reason it wasn't called a touchdown is because you didn't hold on to the ball on the 1 yard line, and you got to protect the ball. That's it. That's the difference. Don't put yourself in a situation that the referee can take something away from you. That's it. That's what I would say. Angel Raxel said the Kirby called timeout. Nah, man, he was clapping. See? Just like I be clapping. I be clapping. Yeah, he was clapping, dog. Shout out to my dog Kirby, man. Kirby, my guy, man. And on that play, what I really think happened was I think he really called a timeout and really told people about the clap. And when he saw the referee was when the ref was confused, he was like, he just ran with it. At that point, it was a little savvy, little sneaky, little razzle dazzle, maybe. But yeah, I think in these type of games to get out of Jordan Hare, you do what you got to do. Yeah, the bad calls are bad calls, but you got to finish that game, and you got to hold on to the ball, man. That fumble was a 10-point swing, but you got to get 7 right. You get 7 right there. Even if you get 3, it's a different ball game. But getting that 7 from there, just hold on to the ball. 17-0. We're not. You go up 17-0. You beat Georgia. I think a lot of these vibes are different. Yeah, I'm type. A lot of people think that it's over for Coach Freeze. This culture carousel is gonna be crazy. Auburn is one of the toughest jobs. You got amenities, you got money, you got a crazy fan base. The game day atmosphere is ridiculous. You got great proximity to a major airport in Atlanta. You got a lot to offer in Auburn, but you also have to deal with contending with Alabama and UGA as your main 2 rivals. Every year you're gonna see those 2. So you got to be built for it tough to take that head coaching job at Auburn. Do I think it's over for Coach Freeze? I think listen, if he's gonna do something, he's got to do it now. With this schedule coming up, this is the time to do it. He beat Missouri. You run off a few. You got some winnable games. I think you got Missouri, Kentucky, Mercer, Vandy, Arkansas. Missouri, Kentucky, Mercer, Vandy, Arkansas. Those 5 games, you could arguably say that Auburn is the most talented team roster wise in at least 4 out of those 5 games. Hands down, 4 out of those 5 games, you could say Auburn is the most talented team roster wise. I would even venture to say that they're more talented top to bottom than Missouri. If you look from 1 to 100, or however many players are on the roster, I would venture to say Auburn is the more talented team. If he runs off 5, I think all of this goes away, to be honest. But yeah, man. All right, so let's get to some Colorado. I know I got a lot of Colorado people in here. Colorado questions. Let's see. Colorado finally gets what my man Chris Berman used to say, gets off the schneid. And they defeat Iowa State. They do. I think it was a great game. Caden Salter with a bounce back game. If you haven't, go check out that video. Hey, all right, y'all know super chats get the first question, get first priority. I'm trying to make it to Colorado, but I got another Auburn super chat. If Hugh loses Saturday, he is gone by Monday, in my opinion. James Starlin, what's up, James? Appreciate that $1.99 super chat. Well, I tell you what, if he loses bad, then yeah. Another thing would be is if the offense doesn't move the ball. If the defense, what you can't afford to do is to lose like a 7-3 game against Missouri. If that defense comes out and balls, that'll look bad. Like you got to score some points. You can't have the 10-0. You can't get or the 17-10 score again. That offense has to come out and score some points this week. You got to get 25 points. You need that. Like in the SEC, you score 20. You average 24 points a game in the SEC. You should, like, with this defense, they could win almost every game by averaging 24. For sure. Appreciate that, James. We got another super chat. Sheldon Miles with a $5 super chat. What's up? That's my business partner. What's up, Sheldon? We got some. Oh, my man Sheldon, we got some on the way for sure. Something I think people are really gonna like. Sheldon, we got to talk tomorrow, bro. Sheldon said, my wife watched Caden Salter for the first time this past weekend, and she said, who is that kid? He is really good. Man, I think if that was your first time seeing Caden Salter, then you saw the roller coaster at its best part. Now, whether you like I would say you saw the roller coaster like when it's headed down onto the chute before they go up. Like the best part of the roller coaster is what you saw. Now it's still a roller coaster, ups and downs. You know, nobody likes that climb uphill, and that's what the previous game was, in my opinion. It was that climb uphill, that slow climb where you're anxious, and you know maybe something falls out of your pocket, and you're not really into the ride yet. But what she saw against Iowa State was Caden Salter at his best, and that's the fun part of the roller coaster. And I think if you can stay on more of those exciting times, more so than the hard climb ups, then I think Colorado can really salvage a great season out of this. And of course, great, using my words in a maybe not great, maybe not what you were expecting, but I guarantee you that it's better than what the prognosis was last week, for sure. Joseph Williams with a heck of a game. I was so impressed with the way Caden Salter layered the ball this past week. The pass, I think, I can't remember, was it a dig? I don't know if it was a deep comeback. I don't know what it was, but over the middle of the field, he hits Joseph Williams over the linebacker and in front of 2 safeties. His best throw in black and gold. Heck of a throw. Great throw. I thought that was an amazing throw, and that was Caden Salter at his best, at his Liberty best. That was it. Ernest Vaughn said Auburn fans want a Salter as well. Absolutely. Yeah, and people forget about the first time Salter came out. He was a top 50 kid. Yeah, a lot of people at Auburn are saying, hey, they're trying to figure out how do you keep missing at the quarterback positions. A lot of people felt like Caden Salter would have been the fix at Auburn. And that's just the nature of the transfer portal. You got to hit, man. You got to hit. When you hit on it, like we've seen it, like Ohio, and it doesn't have to be the best quarterback in the country. When Ohio State landed Will Howard, it didn't send seismic shock waves throughout the nation. It looked like a good quality pickup, and that was what was needed for that offense. Cam Ward was in the Heisman conversation as a transfer portal pickup. Goes and becomes the number 1 overall pick after starting at Incarnate Word. But he was what Miami needed to a certain extent. He built it for a guy like Carson Beck. He got the car running. Now Carson Beck, is warmed up. They got a few more toys to play with, and now Carson Beck was a great pickup for them. So yeah, the transfer portal and quarterbacks, you gotta pick up on them. All right, Derek Thomas says, and I'm just randomly picking some. Let's see. Dukes, do you think Coach Prime would leave CU for the Penn State job? That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Coach Prime really likes Colorado. It would have to be a very, very special job. Now, what I will tell you, my boy Prime gonna say it every time. He said he ain't gonna miss God. So if he feels like God tells him to go to Penn State, he'll go. But I think right now he feels like his feet are planted in Colorado. He's and I can say from a conversation I had earlier today with some people out in Boulder, like they're looking forward to Coach Prime being there for a long time. Fat Don said that you was almost back. Hey man, Mally Tony, TSP, shout out to Top Shelf Performance. Mally Tony going crazy. Shout out to Coach Step, and they got CJ Daniels too. Shout out to TJ and Coach Step. Eric C. Wright said, "School." Man, if you saw the support and how happy some people are, really just saying, "Hey, man, we appreciate you today, man." Auburn family, man. Shout out to everybody, man. I talked to some Auburn legends today for sure. So shout out to the Auburn family staying close knit. JW5389 says, Duke, do you see James Franklin getting the shot back in the SEC? Man, how cool would it be for him to go pick up a Vanderbilt job that's already on the rise? As if Clark Lee goes and gets a bigger job, who knows? Could he, what job could Clark Lee get after the job that he's done at Vanderbilt? What if James Franklin just goes back to Vanderbilt and now he has a car that's already revved up? The first time he had to build a car himself. Now he's got one, and he left a pretty good one, but now he's got one that's already revved up. How cool would that be to see? Salty Vet says, do you think Coach Prime will go to the Cleveland Browns when Kevin, he said when, not if. No, man, I don't think he would go to the Cleveland Browns. I mean, Coach Prime said he don't give a darn about the Browns. A darn. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I really think Coach Prime is happy where he is. He wants to build it out in Colorado. He's such a competitor. He wants to prove, and I think it's so many naysayers. He wants to prove he's being paid well. He appreciates that town of Boulder, and he likes the peace out there. So, yeah, I would say Coach Prime is happy right now. Saucy Vet said when, not if it's going to happen. Ernest Vaughn said Auburn basketball has an exhibition game this Wednesday. Oh, wow. Merrick Brown said, Deuce, do you think James Franklin would be a good fit at Stanford since he was successful at Vandy? I could see that. California, you could recruit in California. James Franklin could get football players there. California has enough talent. I could see that. And, go out there, win 8-9 games a year. You win 8-9 games in the ACC. Yeah, I can see that. I think, he could retire there. G Bama Boy said top coaches for the vacancies are Brent Key, Clark Lee, and Alex Golesh. Yeah, I like Alex, man. Alex good people. I think Sig's got to be the first. Like Kurt Signetti's got to be the number one candidate for any job in the country. He's got to be Sig. I've heard him attached to every major job. I like Summerall from Tulane for sure. Definitely like Brent Key. Oh, what's my man at Memphis? I always forget his name. The Memphis coach. The coach at Memphis. He should get a job. The coach at Memphis. Is it Silverstein? I gotta remember. I think Rhett Lashley gonna get a job too, a bigger job. He may be good at SMU, but I could see Rhett Lashley, maybe that Arkansas job, maybe. I could see that. Silverfield, boom. Thank you, James. Silverfield. And didn't mean to butcher your name, my brother. Sorry about that. Yeah, you know what, Sig? Sig first job was up there in Indiana too, right? I think Indiana, Purdue. IUPUI in Indiana University, Purdue University, Indiana, something like that. Jambo said, would love to see Alex Golesh at Auburn. Yeah, that'd be cool. Sharpshooters Talk said, what's good, Dukes? What you said earlier on Twitter about Deari Austin was some real stuff. Shout out to the players, too, for speaking up, too. Yeah, man. Man, shout out to Deari for being a stand-up guy. And whether you agree with his decision or not, you just got to be careful with how you frame stuff. That's all I say about that. Ryan Silverfield, that's right. He said, I mentioned what you said on the show tonight, too, man. Salute, man. You got to bring me on the show soon, man. Thank you. I had newspaper reach out. I had a few people reach out about it. Coach Bree's gonna say something. I really don't. I think in that moment, if he had to do, if Coach Brees had it to do over, he would. I would say that. C. Wright said, do you think Cam Ward rookie season can be revived now that Callahan is out of there? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Callahan was, man. So if I ain't mistaken, Callahan did Callahan come from Cincinnati? If I'm not, let me check that out. Yeah, he was an OC at Cincinnati. Sometimes, man, your toys matter, man. It matters what you're playing with. The groceries matter. Like, it's like, all right, let me just going from what he had at Cincinnati to Tennessee. And I always say this, and I tell this to my friends in the coaching industry all the time. Take your time and pick the right one. Don't just go get the title. Pick the right one. We see it all the time. Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy literally could have just chilled as the Chiefs offensive coordinator and waited until he got the right one. He rushed it, became the offensive coordinator on a sinking ship in Washington, That went left. Then, but then goes to UCLA. That went. I mean, it was. Shout out to Bieniemy, man. I think he's a running back coach with the Bears. Now I saw him. I saw Bieniemy at the combine this year when I went. Shout out to him, man. But yeah, you just got to be careful with the jobs. And at one point in time, he was the hottest candidate out there. So I think you really got to be careful. G Bama boy said he think Landon will leave for Oregon. Think Landon will leave Oregon for Florida or Auburn. I just don't see it because to turn down Bama, and he's getting his pick of what he wants. Like he's getting what he wants to come out to Oregon. So we'll see. James Stalin said he said on Tiger Talk that he didn't mean it the way he said in the presser. Shout out to you, man. I figured he would do that. Okay, good. Ernest Bond said, you know, if Caddy working anywhere right now. Now Lack is in Lack. He's still he was with the Raiders last year, and then that whole staff got let go. So I think he's still chilling in Vegas. Last I heard. I ain't talked to my dog in a minute, man. I need to hear him. Oh, all right, y'all. Look, I got a call. I got to take this. All right, look. I'm gonna drop another video. We'll go live again tomorrow since we cut this one short. Man, it's been great. Make sure you like, subscribe. I appreciate it. I gotta take this call. Live scoop coming soon. All right, y'all. Thank you.